Hello, and welcome back to Improvement Roulette. I'm Amanda Zimmerman. I'm a Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt and have been helping businesses make their processes better, safer, faster, and more efficient for over 10 years. And now with Improvement Roulette, what we're doing is sharing some different business tips, some different ways that you can look at your processes so that you can improve them and make your business better, stronger, more predictable. And so today, the two options that we chose today was measures of dispersion and a farm. So measures of dispersion, it's such a scary sounding thing, but it's actually really simple. And what we're going to focus on is range and standard deviation. And we're going to keep things as simple as possible. Now we got the option or we chose farm yesterday as our example of a small business. So we're going to keep that simple as well. And we're going to talk about someone that has some chickens and they want to sell eggs. So our example today, we're talking about Emma's eggs. And what we want to look at is how many eggs can Emma think that she is going to produce each week? Now, each week she was told by the pet store or the feed store that she would have 1 egg per chicken per day. So she got a bunch of chickens. She started making sales so that she could be able to sell all of those eggs that she was going to start producing. But after she got the chickens, she realized, hey, they're not actually producing 7 eggs a day. I can't meet these sales that I've already put together, right? I already have people calling me and I can't give them the eggs that they demanded. And when she looked, she found that really the chickens were only laying on average about 5.5 eggs a day, or a week, 5.5 eggs a week. So that was quite a bit different than 1 a day, than 7 a week. So she went and she got some more data. So she grabbed data for the 10 weeks that she had her chickens. She looked at how many chickens she had, how many eggs they laid, and then she was able to make some decisions about her data or about how many eggs each chicken on average was laying per week. Now, what you see here, just kind of by reviewing it from top to bottom, you see that there's a lot of variation. And this is where those measures of dispersion come in, is looking at week to week, those big changes in our data. How significant are they? How much are they changing from week to week? So this is something that she's able to understand more by using range and standard deviation. Now we're going to keep things very simple here. When we look at these terms, we're not going to go deep into the math side. But for a range, what we're talking about is the difference between the highest value and the lowest value, right? So here we know that the range is between 4.5 eggs and 7 eggs per week, right? So we can start to understand that that's the distribution, how many eggs per week we are going to have based on the number of chickens. So you can multiply that by the number of chickens, you can start to get an idea of what your range is. Now, what standard deviation helps us to understand is the extent of the deviation for the group as a whole. So how much are you moving away from the average? How significant is that, right? Because what we want to do when we're talking about hitting that same target every time, as we do when we use Six Sigma methodologies, hitting that same target every time means that we don't have a lot of variation. We don't have a lot of changes of our data from the average. And so if we look at that standard deviation for this example, it's 1 egg. Now, what does that help us to do? That helps us to say, if Emma got 20 chickens, she could have 69% confidence that they will lay between 92 and 132 eggs. Now, even that 68% confidence or 69% confidence isn't very much, right? She probably wants more confidence than that. As well as that's a huge range from 92 to 132. That's a big difference in how many customers she could serve. So what she can do with this data as well is she can go and look at what are some of the factors that might be causing this variation. So week to week, maybe she can track some data. How many chickens have maybe passed away? How many chickens have you introduced? When you introduce new chickens, does it cause maybe some stress? And maybe the eggs don't come out as frequently for that week. she can look at that variation day to day or week to week and find out why her data is changing, why the number of eggs per week is changing. And then she can start to control those variables so that week to week she gets better numbers. She has more confidence in a tighter range so that she can make better predictions about her business. So this is a very simplified example of using measures of dispersion, range, and standard deviation to understand your processes. Now, there's two reasons that I highlighted that you would want to do this. One is to get down to those root causes, to be able to see week to week, are there changes in my data and what can I do to control those, right? Which variables or changes are going to have the biggest impact? The second is so that you have that predictability about your process, so that you can have confidence week to week, day to day, how many products or services can be or will be produced. So measures of dispersion are great to know. If you have a data set, it's great to take a look at that range and get a good understanding of that. If you watched our reduced cycle time video a few days ago, that's probably a better spot to start. And then once you feel like your cycle time is good, then you can start looking at why does it vary from day to day? How much does it vary from day to day? Right? That's kind of that next step after you master your cycle time. So that was a quick explanation about something that we could go way, way deeper into, but we don't necessarily need to today. Now, tomorrow we're going to be talking about a bed and breakfast, and we're going to be talking about just-in-time production. So those are two things that maybe we wouldn't think go together, but I can already think of a few examples for this bed and breakfast and just-in-time. Really important concept, just in time. So if you have a small business, this is a really good one to get connected on, because it definitely connects to your customer demand and making sure that you don't produce more than is needed or before it is needed, that you produce it just when the customer needs it. Now today you can see we're doing pretty good. We've got our green streak going again. We've got 3 days in a row. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I hope that today you are able to make your processes just a little bit better each and every day that you come and watch these videos with us. And I hope that you don't have to work so hard because you're making your business a little bit better each and every day.